Tonight, more bad news for President Trump when it comes to how Americans are feeling about the economy. According to the University of Michigan survey, consumer sentiment has dropped 3 straight months to the lowest level in the survey's 50-year history. That's lower than during the COVID pandemic and lower than the Great Recession. A new Fox News poll found more than half of registered voters think they were better off financially 2 years ago than they are right now. But still, President Trump insists the economy is doing better than ever. Here he is.
You were a dead country, and today you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. It's true, we're the hottest country. 68 days we hit all-time record highs, and since the election, adding $9 trillion in value to your savings and retirement accounts, 401ks. Your 401ks, does anybody have a 401k? Well, your people are going to vote for me then. There's no way. Will anybody with a 401k vote against Trump? Thank you.
Okay, so a little data there to give you some context. How many Americans have a 401k? Of 70 million Americans, 43% of the working population, 60% of Americans have some sort of retirement savings plan. All of this is coming, I think, too important to know when this Fox News poll shows that 71% of registered voters disapprove of Trump's handling of the economy. Joe, can the president outrun these numbers as we get closer to the midterms?
Look, I mean, consumer sentiment is an anxiety-based metrics, not necessarily based in any reality or data. I mean, if you look at some of the retailer stocks, consumer cyclicals, auto manufacturers, all those stocks are doing pretty well. 401ks are doing well, exactly what President Trump said.
Go ahead.
The issue is that we have two things driving anxiety. We are in the middle of a war, right? That is going to push anxiety down. We have mortgage rates high. We got gas prices high. The gas rates we've seen will come down, the price of oil will come down as soon as whatever happens in Iran, whatever ending to this conflict happens. We saw the volatility work out itself when we perceived that it might be over, and I think that'll happen again. On the interest rates and the mortgage rates were below 1% in 2022. They went up to over 5% by the end of 2023. I mean, they haven't come down since Joe Biden's administration caused that inflation and took 1/5 of Americans' purchase power away. The rates aren't going to come down as fast as they've gone up, in that 1 year cycle, but they've come down every single year, past 2 years, since 2024. I mean, that's pretty good. It's not where I think we need to be. But I think the president the president was the one advocating for the replacement of Jerome Powell based on that fact. People pushed back on him, but he was the one saying, no, we got to get a change at the Fed to get the rates down lower.
Isaiah wants to jump in. I can see it.
I mean, you know what's not going well? People's personal finances. Gas is $5. Trump promised he was going to cut our energy bills in half. They're up 13%. Healthcare premiums are up 26%. I mean, they can just look around and see the way things are. Inflation's the highest level since the pandemic. So you want to know why consumer sentiment is where it is? The economy sucks. I mean, just point blank, period. And Joe, the point is that this is why the Republican Party is losing elections all across this country. Because people see their bank accounts. They understand their wallets. And no matter what amount of Trump bragging about the golden age that he does, they still understand what it's doing to their wallet.
This is the exact Joe Biden playbook. I just think we should just be very, very consistent.
I was just going to say,
in 2024, we had 48 all-time market highs. Joe Biden mentioned almost every single one of them, even though inflation was also at 3.5%, even though his approval rating was also around 35%. And so Democrats at the time were saying rah the stock market, but now they're attacking Trump for doing the same thing.
Lost.
It's just a very, very
so wake up.
Totally.
Inflation was down 9%.
You know what Joe Biden didn't do? He didn't start a war with Iran with no justification.
Yes,
no,
and
he also didn't go put tariffs on everything as well.
Yes, and so what we have here tonight, as we sit here, situation where it looks very likely that we're about to restart bombing of Iran. Okay. And there are a lot of reports out there that this is about to happen. And what that means is that all of the problems, not just with the U.S. economy, but with the economy of every country in the world, are about to get worse. And it means that the Iran war is going to go much longer than otherwise anticipated. And that is a disaster, not just for Americans, but for all people. And then if you think about the knock-on effects on energy and then manufacturing, and then rates will continue to go up, and then inflation, it's a calamity for the world economy.
Josh, I bet you
with
if we
no
ran,
strategy
I
whatsoever.
bet you if we ran the
and
clip
that
of
is
you
the most
in February, you'd have
irresponsible
been
and
saying the same thing. I
handling
guarantee you, there's a clip in
of
this building somewhere. You saying the same
February
thing.
win.
when
There's
the
some
war
clip of you
started
saying
in
it's about to
February
end,
of
it's
this
about
year.
to end, it's about to end, and I keep saying it's not about to end, it's
Right
not
now
about
we
to
have
end.
the stock
And I
market
keep being
hitting a
right, you keep
higher
being
point than
wrong.
it was in
And
February.
at some point, you're going to have to admit that we're in this quagmire
Okay.
because if you say it's going to end every single day and then it never ends, it's
I'll
not
be right.
ending.
I'll be right one of those
Okay.
days.
Yeah.
Except
hopefully
what kind
we're
of world
still
will
on
be
the
left
earth while
by
it
the
Here's
time
the
that
question.
happens?
You mentioned
And-
energy prices, and obviously there's a lot of components to the Iran war. But you think about gas prices, and that's something that most Americans see
Every day.
single day.
Yeah, I
And,
think
and
Go
it makes
ahead.
it increases prices for farmers who
Yes,
use gas.
it has collateral
manufacturers.
ripple
go ahead,
effects.
Ashley.
I think
Car sales are down.
I hear your point. Yes, and when Democrats were running in 2024, voters were saying they were not feeling economically secure, and Democrats looked at the numbers. The lesson is Democrats lost, and so the takeaway is listen to the constituents.
Yes, I agree.
They actually understand what they are living every day, and the challenge is will leaders lead? I understand Trump didn't run. He was going to start a war. He thought that was the right thing to do. I think we all at this table will agree Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. But he also represents the people living in this country. And I think if you were to ask the people living in this country whether or not they want him to figure out the best way not to strike right now, to end this war and bring gas prices down, they would say make that your number one priority. And as a leader, it seems like he is ignoring the people who voted for him, the people who didn't vote for him, and the people that are in the middle that had one time and one time not. He's ignoring them. And that is a problem of leadership for the country.
I think you're right about one thing. I think you're right that, sometimes we all fall into this void where we think the bad things only affect our opponents. I think it's foolish for the Republicans to pretend like high gas prices are not going to affect them in the midterm. I think we definitely need to take
Money
a
is
more
green,
serious
not red or blue.
look at that.
All right. It's okay. Yeah. No, I think there's much more to come as we see what happens next. To your point on Iran, we are going to talk about that.